It's one of the things too you can make libtards uncomfortable with is like, if you'd been born in Germany in that time period, you would have been a Nazi.
Just like Kurt Vonnegut says he would have been.
Yeah.
You would have just been a Nazi, particularly because being a midwit, you would have not had any reason to do otherwise.
Right. You would have followed the power structure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You'd been like,
this
guy's got power. I should follow him.
If there were people that would be more likely to not necessarily like the people that are Nazis would probably be the ones that possibly like more skeptical of Nazism back then. Because you're just used to you're like, let me critique this power structure.
People like us back then, we would have been like, I'm going to go with this guy, but I have my reservations.
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd be like, well, or you might just be really enthusiastic about it, depending on how early you got in on the ground floor. But I think that but it's definitely true that the uncreative midwits, they would follow, but that's what they do. I mean, the problem is that our society. Here's the thing: the German system, it didn't insult the midwit. It didn't tell the midwit he wasn't a midwit. The midwit was a midwit, and the midwit was expected to go along. But there's a place for the midwit. And he was expected to go along with the party line. In America, it's the same, except they tell the midwit he's a fucking genius. Right?
You're so smart. You really get it.
Yeah, I think that
I remember that there was a guy on. There was long ago, the week after 9/11, on Bill Maher's old show, right before he got in trouble. It probably was the episode where he said, "We've been the cowards." When he did that bit. There was always some actor that would come on that had this bright-eyed, bushy-tailed midwit libtard thing going on. He was really outspokenly, what's the word? It's just middle of the road, just he's enthusiastically going along with the plumb line and Bill Maher would always fawn over how smart and bright he was, and he was so glad to have him back on the show. To just come on with your
Bill Maher wants you to be.
Yeah,
Bill Maher is midwit.
But that is literally so if you're watching at home and you're a midwit and you kind of agree with all these non-controversial things that this guy says, he just says it with a little more gusto than people usually say. You really feel like I am a fucking genius for following along the political discussion and basically being in agreement with this guy who has said nothing controversial. And Bill Maher told me that he's really smart and bright and young and neat. And I'm smart and bright and young and neat, too.
Yeah, I mean,
really going places.
When you look at what the American system does, is it presents you with a bunch of prejudices, and then it pretends they're viewpoints, and it basically shows you here. It doesn't actually present you with arguments. It presents you with positions.
This mic sucks.
It says, it doesn't teach you critical thinking, and it doesn't even teach you positions. It teaches you, it shows you positions and says, this is what critical thinking, smart, high-status people believe. Therefore, you believe this. Therefore, you are a critical thinking, smart, high-status person. Not the other people have their beliefs formed by the Michael Shermer paradigm, and you are actually, and that's another thing that
they
smart
just
people
read
know
the
about.
Bible. Those other people just read the Bible.
The Michael Shermer thing is something else that smart people know about. So you, libtard, you know about that. You're smart. You know how it is that people believe stupid things, and you know why. And those stupid things are defined as these things, and we never explain why, but that doesn't matter because you're actually accepting a belief paradigm. And the way we've tricked you is by telling you that stupid people form their beliefs in this way, and you're smarter than that. We've flattered you that you're smarter than you really are and given you a plumb line, and you believed it, and you bought into the whole fucking thing lock, stock, and barrel. If you go and you read Hitler's speeches, he's not doing that. He is presenting the German people with a set of arguments about why they are in the circumstances they are in and how that he wants to change it. And how it is that because of their policies, they are doing better than the West, and what it is that the West is demanding of them, and what it is that they are not going to do. This great speech he did on the idea of democracy. And he says, they say I am a dictator. They say that Germany isn't a democracy. But in Germany, we do not allow international bankers from The Hague, from London, from New York to come in and loot our country's wealth and loot our people. And if I were to suddenly do that, if I were to open this country up to the Jewish bankers in New York City, in London, and in Switzerland, I would suddenly be called a responsible and democratic leader in the world press. But that's not democracy. That's not German democracy. We're not going to let you do that to our country. So now, you tell me, is that like, when you hear that kind of rhetoric, what are you supposed to think? Like, are you dumb for believing that? Are you stupid for liking that? Are you a fool? Or is he telling, is he lying? First of all, is he fucking lying? Is he lying to you when he says that? Because they'll tell you yes, but I'm like, well, okay, which part is the lie?